let's talk about your credit report. What happens when that super important document, the one that basically defines your financial life, gets your story totally wrong? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the entire process of fighting back against credit report errors. I mean, really think about that for a second. What if the very report that lenders, landlords, and sometimes even employers use to judge you is telling lies about you? Yeah, it's a scary thought, but it happens way more often than you'd think. The good news? You have the power to fix it, and we're about to walk through exactly how. So, here's our game plan. We'll start with why these little errors can be a huge deal. Then we'll meet the key players involved. From there, we'll figure out the best way to file a dispute, see what happens during the 30-day investigation, find out what the results mean, and finally, arm you with the powerful consumer rights that have your back through it all. All right, first up, let's get one thing straight. An error on your credit report, it's not just some harmless little typo. No way. It's a mistake that can have a massive, real-world impact on your life and your wallet. And believe me, the consequences can be huge. We're talking about getting flat-out denied for that mortgage you wanted, or you get the loan but you're stuck paying thousands more in interest. It can even mean losing out on a job opportunity. See? These aren't just numbers, they are major roadblocks. Okay, so if we're going to fix these problems, we've got to understand who we're actually dealing with, right? So let's meet the cast of characters in your personal credit story. First up, you've got the credit reporting agencies, or CRAs. You probably know them as the big three: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Think of them as the librarians. Their job is to collect and organize all this financial data about you into the credit reports that businesses look at. So where do these CRAs get all their information? Well, they get it from the furnishers. A furnisher is literally anyone that provides or furnishes your data to the credit bureaus. We're talking about your bank, your credit card company, your car loan lender, even debt collectors. They're the original source of everything on your report. Okay, so we know who the players are. The big question is, how do we actually go about correcting a mistake? Turns out you've got two main paths you can go down. Your first big decision is, do you go indirect or direct? With an indirect dispute, you tell the credit bureau, say Equifax, about the error. They are then legally required to go talk to the furnisher for you. The other option is a direct dispute. That's where you skip the middleman and go straight to the source, the bank or the credit card company that reported it. So which way do you go? This is, and I'm not kidding, probably the most important strategic decision you'll make. To really protect yourself, you almost always want to start with the credit bureau. And here's the bottom line. The law that gives you the power to actually sue a furnisher for not investigating properly, it usually only kicks in after you've filed that official dispute with the CRAs first. All right, you did it. You sent your dispute letter off to the credit bureau. So what happens now? Well, as soon as they get it, a clock starts ticking. And that clock, it's set for 30 days. That's it. By law, the moment you file a dispute, the credit bureau and the furnisher generally have just 30 days to investigate your claim and get back to you with an answer. They can't just leave you hanging. It's the law. So what exactly is going on inside that 30-day window? Well, first, the bureau gets your dispute letter and any proof you sent. Second, they have to forward all that information over to the furnisher. Third, that furnisher is now legally required to do a reasonable investigation and report its findings back. And finally, the bureau has to mail you the written results and, if they made any changes, a free updated copy of your credit report. Okay, the 30 days are up. That envelope you've been waiting for is finally in your hands. Let's dig into the possible outcomes, and more importantly, what you can do next if you're not happy with the result. So, what's inside that letter? Well, an investigation can really only end in one of a few ways. In a perfect world, you get a correction where they fix the error, or a deletion where they just remove the whole account. But sometimes they'll come back and say the information was verified, and that just means they're claiming it's accurate and nothing is going to change. And this is the part that can make you want to pull your hair out. The company says the information is correct, but you know it's wrong. So what on earth do you do when the system seems to let you down? Don't panic. The good news is this is not the end of the road. You absolutely have more moves to make. You can try to redispute it, but this time you've got to bring new evidence to the table. You also have the right to add a short 100-word statement to your file explaining your side of the story. You can escalate things by filing a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, and if all else fails, you can talk to a consumer law attorney to see what your legal options are. And you know, that last point brings us to our final and honestly most empowering part of this whole thing. It is so important to understand that you are not powerless here. You have serious rights under federal law. I'm talking about a federal law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA for short. This is a powerful law designed specifically to protect people like you and me. Its whole purpose is to make sure the information on your credit report is accurate, fair, and private. You need to remember the law is on your side here. And let me tell you, this law has some serious teeth. If a bureau or a furnisher breaks the rules of the FCRA, you can actually sue them. If they were just sloppy or negligent, you can get your actual damages, lost wages, emotional distress, plus your attorney's fees paid for. But if you can show their violation was willful, like they knew they were doing the wrong thing and did it anyway, you could get all of that, plus statutory and even punitive damages on top. So after all of this, the real question is, what story is your credit report telling about you? You know, you're entitled to free credit reports every single year, so go get them, check them carefully. And now you have the knowledge to make sure that story is nothing but the truth. Your financial future could literally depend on it.